Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It's Friday night. It's Friday night before a July 4th weekend. Well, July 4th next week, but anyway, it's still kind of July 4th weekend. I think there's like a lot of events going on. I think there's going to be a parade around here and stuff like that. So if something's happening in your neighborhood, that's awesome. I hope you guys get to enjoy your weekend. I don't have any announcements, so I'm just going to jump right in. So what are we working on tonight? Well, I was going through my pastel pencil drawings of various pets, and I realized that one's missing. I've got a lot of dogs in there. I've even got a hedgehog, but I haven't done a kitty cat yet. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to do a cute little kitty cat. Hopefully, it turns out okay. I haven't done a kitty cat in a while, certainly not one in color in quite some time. So I don't know. I'm a little nervous about this one, but I think it'll turn out all right. So I'm just going to jump right in. I've already started sketching out the cat just to save some time. I mentioned before that I kind of use a self-prepared paper. I give it kind of a tone and then a coat of clear gesso just to make it like got so that it kind of has a sandy texture that's good for pastel. Already did that. Everything's dry. Got the cat sketched out. So we're just going to jump right in. If anybody's in the chat, feel free to chime in. Otherwise, I'm just going to get to it. And if you come in later, that's cool too. So I'm going to kind of try to focus on the area around the eyes and kind of work out from there, just because, you know, that's kind of like the focal point. I don't have like a clear strategy for how I'm going to complete this, but I want to get most of it done in one session, so I'm going to try to do all that, at least the gist of it. I might come back and add finer details later and stuff like that. But because this is a kitten, I don't know if all kittens start off with blue eyes, but it certainly seems that way to me. This kitty has blue eyes, which is a little fun because it's not completely blue. As you can see, I'm kind of using this yellow ochre pencil. It's got a little bit of green in it, a little bit of yellow, and then it kind of builds out to yellow to blue on the edges. So that's what I'm going to try to faithfully reproduce here. I love Fridays. Fridays are always the best ones to do live streams on because like the week's over, um, for better or worse. This one was a really busy one for me. I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done, but I'm happy enough with where things are at. We got a lot of projects in the works. I think that they're all starting to come together, I think. Certainly better than they have been. And I'm also happy because I am pretty happy with my pet portfolio, I guess. I like this style that I've been doing these pictures in, and I've got quite a few of them. Like maybe later on I'll go through them, but I've got at least four, maybe five of them. This will be like a sixth one. So that's a good um, that's a good number of pieces to kind of show off the style, I think. I mean, I'm not completely happy with any of them. There's definitely room for improvement, but I like how far I've come, and I do think that this is the style that I enjoy drawing in, and you know, it's nice to have a few done. It's always it's always different when you have a goal in mind and you're at the start of your journey, but when you've got some progress made on your journey, it it helps because you can look back and say, "Hey, look at all that stuff I did," right? That's one of the reasons why I like art. Some of the other things that I work on, I don't really get to I don't really get to see the efforts of my work. They're just like little pieces of something that's maybe like a long time in the building, and it's like long term down the road before you're ever done. So I'm just throwing in some color here. I'm going to kind of blend it in. I started with orange on this one because like there's some orange that kind of shows through in his fur, and then the reference picture I'm using, again, this is from Unsplash. I've been using a lot of Unsplash pictures for these pet pictures. I've got some pictures that people have sent me that I'm probably going to start working on now that these are done. But I wanted to go with some ones that were probably like taken by photographers and that are like really well lit, just because it's like showpieces in a portfolio, I guess. And by portfolio, I mean like Instagram. It's not it's not like I'm sending these off to a gallery or anything like that. It's just, a collection, I guess, for my own sanity of like, hey, I've got these pictures done. Cool. They all look kind of consistent, which is important to me. Oh, I should warn you guys that they are firing off fireworks and stuff like that around my neighborhood. So if my dogs go nuts, sorry. It's just how it goes. It's the same way every year. I feel really bad for them because they kind of get, they're I mean, anybody who has pets like can relate, but my dogs get really scared from the fireworks, even though it happens every year. I think it's because it happens like once a year or something like that. They don't really know what's going on. There's some weird looking eyes right now, but it gets better. I'm actually glad to have a collection of these pictures because I kind of want to try a different style already. Like I don't want to rest on my laurels. Um, there's this new style that I kind of picked up on that I want to try a picture in that. It's um it's actually a combination of pastel pencils and colored pencils, which sounds really strange, but there's a way to make it work. And I'm gonna give that a shot. I saw something that somebody else did, and that's the way it always goes. Artists are always looking at each other for inspiration. And I saw this work somebody else did while I was looking for different techniques you can do with pastel pencils. Um, and this guy was working with pastel pencils and colored pencils side by side. And I liked the way he was doing it. And I'm like, well, this seems easy. I can do that. So I'm going to give it a shot. But if it goes really well. The combination of the two, I think, would be really cool because you're able to get some of the rich colors from the pastel pencils and then some of the extra fine detail, I think, or just yeah, I mean, what I'm shooting for is the extra fine detail, but there's also some cool little like translucent kind of qualities of colored pencils over pastel pencils, and I'm hoping to be able to do something with that. That doesn't make any sense. Let me try to explain that. So, the way some of the Renaissance artists worked is they worked in these kind of like transparent layers where things were piled on top of each other. Like if you look at the Mona Lisa, my understanding of it, I'm no expert, but I did see a documentary on it. The Mona Lisa is actually a lot of thin layers of paint, one on top of each other, with kind of like a white background that the light kind of comes through the different layers, and because they're like so thin, and then what you see in your eye is actually like kind of like this magic trick of all the different layers pieced together. And I'm not saying I'm going to create anything like that. I'm just saying that sort of effect is what I'm going to. Well, I I don't want to jinx it by saying that that's what I'm going for because I may not get that. I'm just saying that's what I'm going to shoot for is something that kind of has a transparent layer effect. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but it's something I'm excited about. It's something that I'm looking forward to trying. So not that I'm bored of these. I'm going to continue doing these type of pictures, but I'm always anxious to try something new as well. When I go back and look at some of the pictures that I've done, um, in various different mediums. They're all kind of done in different styles. So I'm still looking for that magic style that I really like. This is pretty close to it, I think. But I like this more for pet portraits, not for people portraits or other types of art that I might want to create. So I'm still searching, I guess. Anyone in the chat room? It's kind of quiet in there, which is fine. I can talk to myself. It's cool. But if you guys are in there, feel free to talk to me. I don't mind answering questions, or I know it's Friday. You guys are probably busy this weekend. I know I've got some things I've got to do. I've got to go to like a little get together tomorrow. It's a starter kit, guys. I like them. I do kind of want that blue to be a little bit more vibrant. So let me see if I can get some more blue up in here. Maybe a lighter blue. Let me see what lighter blues might I have. Let me go with this. Also, sorry if it sounds like I have a cold. It's really more like allergies. I think from the air quality, which was pretty poor this week. My understanding is that there's wildfires up in Canada, and there's an air advisory this week in my neighborhood. And usually things like that don't really affect me much, but if I do sound a little bit strange, it's because I am prone to allergies and stuff like that. So I think some of that air quality seeped in to my lungs. They got up in there. I can only imagine what it's like for people actually up in Canada or closer to Canada. Like I'm pretty far away. It actually surprised me that it reached down this far. But everything's connected. We all live on the same big blue planet. I think a lot of people's just been busy during summer anyway. Like I look at the demographics of my stats on this channel, and it kind of skews a little bit younger, which is cool for me. Like I mean, it makes sense. Younger people just getting started with art, me just getting started with art, kind of makes a lot of sense actually. But then I started thinking like, huh, I wonder what young people do during the summer, like when they're on summer break and stuff. Probably not watching YouTube. They're probably out enjoying themselves playing video games. They don't have school. They can stay up as late as they want. So it's kind of interesting the difference in viewership between spring and summer and I guess winter too. But I remember when I was younger, we had spring break, not spring break, summer break. Well, spring break too. Like I don't know, we didn't do anything. We'd stay up all night watching TV and got up the next day and did the exact same thing. I don't think I even got dressed. It was all pajamas. A little bit of highlight on these eyes here. I think that's kind of cool. Obviously, highlights along with some of the shadows and stuff is what gives the eyes like a three-dimensional effect. So it's always fun to put in. I don't think I can get the white that I want with this white pencil. I'm gonna try with a different one after I get a little base going here. I think a lot of people are out traveling too. Um, Seems to be a pretty busy week for vacations. You know, you're out of work because of the holiday. The kids are out of school. Perfect time to plan a vacation. I think that was pretty cool. Hey, Robert G, how's it going, man? Things are going well on my end. Just drawing a kitty cat to round out my portfolio of pet portraits. Gotta make sure there's a kitty cat in there. I love kitty cats. I've got one cat of my own. I used to have a lot more. Uh, over time, but I'm down to one cat. I think at one point I had up to like five cats. Not all of those were like indoor cats, though. But I think those are cool looking eyes. You'd have to see them like zoomed in and stuff, which we can do later maybe. But getting some of this white in around the eyes. So the eyes here are kind of like wrapped in white. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I can see how that could be rough. Um, my condolences, of course, to you and your family. That sounds that sounds like that would definitely put a damper on any sort of sense of fun times. I was never like a big Fourth of July person anyway, because I do have pets, and they always freak out at the thunderstorm, or not the thunderstorms, sorry, at the fireworks during Fourth of July. I usually stay home anyway, just to kind of like pamper them, because they don't know what's going on. They end up cowering underneath the table and stuff like that. So I don't like to abandon them and go out and look at fireworks. I have before in the past, but then I get home and I kind of regret it. So even though, like having the day off of work or something like that's nice, I don't really do anything for it. I might grill out or something like that. Yeah. I heard that like I don't know, somebody tried this. I don't remember what the result was, but somebody said that like lavender helps with that. Like if you had like some lavender incense or something like that, it calms them. But I don't know how like they're supposed to get that calm because they don't seem very calm. They are not fans of fireworks. Before I knew any better, when I was younger, I had a dog that I thought, oh, dogs like going to, you know, parties and festivities and stuff like that. I'll bring my dog to the fireworks show. That was a bad idea. Felt like I was torturing that dog. I felt terrible, but happens every year. Yeah, I mean, if they can sleep through it, that'd be cool. Mine are sleeping through it now because it's not that bad. But on the Fourth of July when they have because where I live, sorry, just enjoying my bourbon. Where I live, I mentioned this. I think last week when they were doing this like little fair over there. There's a park nearby where all the county activities happen. So they do the fireworks just like I don't know, less than probably a mile away, and so there's no hiding from it here where I live. It's better than where I used to live when I was younger. I lived in an apartment in town, and yeah, that wasn't very good for for my pets. Who can blame them? Like if suddenly the world started sounding like it was falling apart, I'd be nervous too. If I didn't know what was going on. I like this little kind of like mask on this kitty. Kind of like this little white mask coming around the eyes. Hey, Rum Dog. Yeah, we did get the smoke from Canada. I was talking about that earlier. So like I, I may sound like I have a cold or something, but I think it's just a reaction to the it's cleared up a bit. But yesterday, yeah, I think it was yesterday. It still looks a little hazy out, but yesterday it looked yellow out. It was really bad yesterday. I think it's gone down quite a bit. Yeah, so like we didn't even have the AC on. It was so bad because we didn't want air from outside coming in. I don't know if there was any like actual point in that because like I feel like the air is going to come in anyway, but we gave it a shot. It seemed to help. But yeah, that's pretty bad. I can only imagine what it's like up actually in Canada or close to the border or something like that. You know, if anybody out there is from Canada, like, you know, feel for you guys. That's rough. All right, I gotta find kind of like a light brown here. I'm gonna try to use well, almost a khaki color. I'm gonna try to use this color and see how it goes. But I don't know if this is exactly the right color I'm looking for. Eh, it'll pass. I'm drawing these pictures for myself. They're not for like anybody in particular. So if I if I choose the wrong color, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But yeah, that oh, you're in Chicago. Oh yeah, that's probably really bad. See, you're a lot closer than I am, and it got pretty bad down here. They had to like do like one of those alerts. But I can imagine Chicago. Yeah, that's you guys probably got the big brunt of it. And try to blend that in a little bit. I want to kind of go, huh? Well, let's get some dark on it. Maybe not that one. I do it. This one. I think in the past I've kind of gone too heavy-handed with this blending stuff. It almost lifts the pastel out. I kind of want to. I think you're supposed to kind of do it a lot lighter. So I'm going to give that a shot here and see how it goes. It does look like it's working better. Oh yeah. Well, all right. So like you were probably up there in I guess Montana. I think that's closer than Wyoming. I was looking in New Mexico, so I don't. I'm only just now getting kind of familiar with all the different places people were looking around Yellowstone, for example. I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot from you guys about where everything is. All right, so I'm gonna, even though I kind of still want to work around the eyes, I want to get this darker color up top, just so that I can kind of build downwards. And I don't think I'm going to go too far into details on this. I just kind of want to, I want to build in layers, and I want to kind of build over the darker layers, if that makes sense. So kind of go in order here from darkest to light instead of just doing like a shape and moving on to the next shape. I kind of want to layer these things. Butte, Montana. I'm sure that was nice. Yeah, all that area out there. When I went on those trips, it was my no, it wasn't my first time past the Mississippi River, but pretty close to it. I had traveled by plane to California once, and then well, California, no, just once. And then I had been to Arizona once, That was for like a conference for work, and that was nice. But that's flying by plane. When I went on these trips, I always did the road trip, and that was much nicer because you get to see the country. Like I got to see like Kansas. Like everybody hates Kansas, right? Like, oh, I don't want to drive through Kansas. I actually enjoyed it. There are some places out there that are, it's like 100% America out there, you know. The one thing I always wondered though, like here, there's a Walmart right down the street. I didn't see any of that stuff out there, at least for like miles and miles and miles. I wonder how people shop. Like, what if you need like a carton of milk? Do you have to travel for that? Do you have to drive like 50 miles just to get a carton of milk? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I think I might bring him back for a little bit, just for fun. I should do a so for those who don't know, Leroy is an animated character I drew, and used to kind of bring him to life like a puppet and do some shows on YouTube and TikTok for that. And it was a lot of fun. It would be kind of cool to do like a behind the scenes because it is art related. Like this channel's art about like drawing and art and stuff like that. Drawing an animated character and bringing it to life with lip syncing and gestures and stuff like that. That is kind of art related. So maybe on this channel, I might actually do like a behind the scenes kind of show off how that works. That would be kind of cool. Maybe or maybe with a totally different character. And either way, I think it would be fun. Like it's cool technology. Like I know I use it for comedic purposes, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun coming up with the stories and stuff like that. Yeah, I think I might at some point. I just ran out of stories, you know? Like I think I'm a pretty creative individual, but there I'm not a writer, so it was tough to come up with like, things that would be funny that people would enjoy. Hey, okay, Larry. Hey, you see a kitty. Good. All right, we're done here. That's all I was trying to do. I was trying to get people to see a kitty. Yep, got doing a kitty cat to round off my portfolio of pet photos, or not photos, sorry, pet drawings in this style. I've been drinking already, you can tell. In this pastel pencil kind of style that I've been doing. I was looking at the ones that I did, and I was like, oh man, I haven't done a kitty yet. I got to do a kitty, and then I got to do a horse, which I haven't done in this style yet. So that's probably up next. But I don't know if I'm going to do that as a live stream or just do it. And then I think that's most of the kind of pets that people have. I mean, it's not meant to be like be end all be all. I'm going to continue drawing in this style, but I wanted to make sure I had a good set of pictures that were all done consistently. And what I like about the pictures I've done is they are all kind of consistent. Like there's some differences between them all, but I think if you looked at them, you could probably guess that they were all done by the same guy, which is what I was shooting for. And then I'll probably not give up on this style because I really like this style. I'm going to continue doing this kind of stuff, but I think I'll move on and try to do some other experiments in the meantime. So there's not all this, if that makes sense. Living the dream. That's what I like to hear. I like it when people are doing their best life. That's cool, man. One of these days. One of these days I'll be living my best life. It's not yet. I'm working on it. It's tough to say what your best life is anyway. Like you can say you're living your best life professionally. You can say that you're living your best life in a relationship, or you're living your best life um, because you're raising kids or whatever. But like, it's tough to say that you're checking all the boxes. I think. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know shit. But I think it would be tough for somebody to say that they're living their best life and checking all the boxes, which is what I believe. I think I I actually hell yeah, I can draw Gizmo from Gremlins. The other day I was going to draw Gizmo from Gremlins, but I was worried because nobody seemed to like. I even mentioned that on the channel. It didn't seem like anybody even knew who Gizmo was. Uh, yes, I would love to. Maybe that's my next drawing. After the horse, I have to draw a horse, and I there's some pictures that people sent me that I've been meaning to draw. I got to do those too. But yes, Gizmo, absolutely. And the reason why is because Gizmo's back on TV. I don't know if you knew this or not, but they have an animated show on HBO, and I started watching that recently, and it's actually pretty good. So, like, if you're a fan of the Gremlins, and you have HBO, there's an animated show. It's probably for kids, but I enjoy it. I think it's great, and it's great to bring Gizmo back and the Gremlins, intellectual property in general. I think all that stuff's cool. So yes, I will draw Gizmo. I mean, Gizmo's just a furry, yeah, Mogwai. Exactly, exactly, a Mogwai. See, you guys are smart. You guys know these things. Um, Gizmo is basically just like a hairless Baby Yoda anyway. I think they stole the idea for Baby Yoda from Gremlins. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so you're the right. Yeah, so you grew up right when those things were coming out. That's cool. I don't know about the second one though. Like I can barely even remember anything from the second Gremlins movie. So apparently it didn't make a big impression on me. Um, but the first one certainly I watched that so many times as a kid, and like every Christmas. It's not technically a Christmas movie, really. Well, yeah, it fits all the. I mean, look, if Die Hard's a Christmas movie, that's definitely a Christmas movie. But it's more kind of like in the. I mean, it's kind of like low key horror genre. Fun fact, because Indiana Jones is in theaters, Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom and Gremlins are the reasons why we have a PG-13 rating. Like those two movies are what actually pushed for a PG-13 because they wanted to make them R, but they weren't really R. So they kind of needed something in between PG and R. So they came up with the PG-13. But it's because of Temple of Doom, like some of the like I don't know, the guy pulls a heart out of the dude. That and of course Gremlins, there's there's some violent moments in Gremlins for sure. Yeah. Mogwai, Gizmo. I love that. I would love to do Gizmo. Thank you. Look, if there's one person in the audience who will watch me draw Gizmo, I'm on it. In fact, I think I have a picture of Gizmo as a kid. Like when I was a kid, I drew Gizmo. So if I can find that, I can show you like kind of a before and after, like me drawing Gizmo as a kid and me drawing Gizmo as an adult. I'd have to go and see if I have that still, though. I think I do. I mean, it's not very good, but it'd be kind of cool to see the difference. Bright lights, bright lights. The best scene is him driving the car, though. You remember that one? I mean, there's a lot of good scenes in there. Like the actual Gremlins in the movie theater. That was awesome. The Gremlins were all right. So I like Gizmo. Gizmo's cute, right? Gizmo's hilarious. Yeah, don't feed Rob after midnight. um, Gizmo's cute, right? So like Gizmo stands alone. Nobody can ever say anything bad about Gizmo. But the Gremlins themselves, them getting into all the mischief that they got into, that was hilarious. I love that. So I don't really know which would be more fun. Like I would rather be a Gremlin myself, but I think I would rather have a Mogwai as a pet because like you couldn't keep track of all the Gremlins. Yeah, the Barbie car. Yep. I had a stuffed gizmo. Maybe I can find that too. All right, we're definitely gonna do a stream probably next week all about Gizmo. Because I don't know if it's doing well. I don't know if it's capturing the attention of a younger audience or anything, but they do have Secrets of the Mogwai animated series on HBO, or I guess it's called Max now. I don't know. But I watched the first couple of episodes of that, and it's actually pretty good. I don't know if you'd be into it as an adult, but like if you suspend your adultness and think like a kid, um, it's actually really good. Like I would have really enjoyed watching that animated show when I was a kid. It would have like definitely been something I watched. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Other people like Gizmo. That's cool. I thought it was the only one left. At my last job, they had some younger people working there, and like in their 20s or whatever. And I brought up two movies that I had seen, and they had no idea what I was talking about. One of them was Goonies. They had no idea what Goonies was, and one of them was Gremlins. So I thought maybe it had fallen out of like the public consciousness or something, like part of pop culture. It'd be kind of cool if it made a comeback. It's such a fun. So like the other thing, oh, I remember the Leprechaun movie. Yeah, Johnny Five. I could try to draw Johnny Five. Johnny Five might be a little bit difficult, um, just because there's so many straight lines and stuff. I draw all these like organic creatures, but Johnny Five would be kind of cool. Maybe I'll give that a shot. Um, I didn't know, but watching the animated series for the Secrets of the Mogwai, there's like this whole mythology associated with those guys. So like they kind of touched upon it in the movie. Um, Obviously, there's like some Chinese mysticism and things like that involved, but they kind of go more into detail about all of that in the animated series, like Chinese magic and stuff. Like I don't know if you guys ever see Big Trouble in Little China? That's an awesome show. So like if you had all the like Chinese magic from Big Trouble in Little China, and then had Mogwais running around. That's kind of like the concept that they're going with. If you don't know Big Trouble in Little China, you need to go and watch that. That's a must. I heard somewhere that they were kind of making a sequel to that. I don't know if it's going to have Jack Burton in it or not, but Johnny Five is alive. I love that movie too. What's the other movie I remember? Crap. You guys are bringing back. These are all like from the 80s. Um, Flight of the Navigator. That was pretty good. There's an 80s one. I think that had Sarah Jessica Parker in it. I felt like they kind of tried to redo Short Circuit with that Chappie movie. I don't know if you guys remember that from a couple of years back, but I think Short Circuit was better. Chappie's just like totally different, but it's kind of in the same concept of a robot that kind of comes alive. I don't think you could do a Short Circuit nowadays. There's too much AI stuff out there. People would just be like, "Well, that's just AI." Beverly Hills Cop. There you go. Axel Foley. Beverly Hills Cop. What was the other one? There was a well, Beverly Hills Cop was the best one. So clearly, I'm just kind of making a white ear, and then I'll add some fur to it. But there's a little bit of pink inside of it. and then like a lot of white fur going over it. So I'm just trying to get some of these areas of pink in here before moving on to the white details. Axel Foley. Hey kid, happy Friday. So now we got the party going. Um, Hopefully you can see that I'm drawing a kitty to round out my portfolio of pet portraits so that I can say I've got all of them collected. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, once I get enough of these done in this style, I'm going to try some other styles. I've got another thing, a type of project that I've got in mind coming up soon. I'm not going to give up on this style. I'm just going to kind of move on and try some other experiments while I'm doing this. Eddie Murphy was just funny and whatever they put him in back in the day. Like now he's just basically like, I don't know, Donkey from Shrek. But back in the day, that dude's hilarious. You know who else I remember from back then? Richard Pryor. Like, I'm surprised they haven't done a Brewster's Millions remake because I feel like that one would probably do very well as a remake. Like if they called it Brewster's Billions or something like that, but that's a good show. Richard Pryor is hilarious. I would definitely watch that. Mac and Me. I don't know if I've seen that one. What's that about? That sounds familiar. Like I should know that one, but I don't. It's not ringing any bells. Oh, Trading Places. There we go. How can I talk about Eddie Murphy and not mention Trading Places? That was the best, actually. Like why haven't they remade that one? That one seems like that one's perfect for remakes nowadays in this climate where people like basically hate the rich. Trading Places would be a good candidate for a remake, but I don't know. Like they couldn't probably do it justice. Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, like just kind of that was perfect. Oh, the toy. I remember. Yeah, Richard Pryor and the toy. I remember that. This is like '80s movie, like nostalgia night. This is great. I was just a kid when all these movies came out, but eventually I saw them. Like my parents wouldn't let me see a lot of these movies when they first came out. Um, I like to give them grief over it now because they don't remember it, but I remember it. They wouldn't let me see Star Wars when that first came out. They thought it was too violent. Star Wars. That's crazy, right? They don't remember it that way, but that's how I remember it. Huh. It kind of like the name Mac and Me rings a bell, but I don't remember seeing that. Like I can't remember any of the plot to it or anything like that. So I probably haven't seen that, but I do remember the name. Kind of like these soft furry ears. These are cool. I'm trying to think of some other 80s movies. Um Now they did remake this one, but I don't think they should have. Arthur. Do you guys remember that with Dudley Moore? That was hilarious. That dude, I don't think he's alive anymore. I don't really know, but Dudley Moore was hilarious in that movie, or at least how I remember. Oh, Beetlejuice. There you go. Man, I'm looking forward to that when that comes out. Beetlejuice was a great movie. We should do movie trivia. Like this is fun. Like if I wasn't busy drawing, I would put up a poll and stuff and do some trivia with you guys. I need an assistant so somebody could put up a poll of trivia and stuff while I'm drawing. My dogs ain't gonna do it. Lazy dogs. Those dogs don't care. They're like, we're just trying to sleep through the fireworks. Leave us alone. And Beetlejuice was awesome. Let's see. Me. Let me remember where all my pencils are. So this one is going to give us some a little bit of transition going into that white. I'm gonna use this kind of, I'm calling it like a khaki color. It's not really, it's kind of more like flesh tone, but I think with the orange background, it kind of comes out khaki. I know it's weird, but that's what I'm seeing. And it could be the lighting in here. I need to get better lighting when I do these at night. Like sometimes I think I have the right color, but then I look at it in the morning after a live stream and I'm like, oh, it chose the wrong color there. Let's see. It would look great for that. Yeah, so they made at least two that I remember, two Arthurs. And yeah, he was a hilarious playing a drunk. I agree. I don't know what other movies he was in, but he was made for that role. He played it very well. Of course, I could be misremembering these things. Like I go back and I watch some of the movies that I remember being really good, like as an adult, and they're kind of cheesy and they're not as good as I thought they were. But I think that one would hold up. And then they did remake it at some point. They had like I'm not going to pronounce this name right, but Bertrand. Um, I don't remember the guy's name. I'm not even going to try it. But anyway, they tried to remake Arthur, and I don't think it did very well. They had some new comedian play him, and it just wasn't the same. Let's see. Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Have you guys gone to see the movie? Um, I have. I don't want to throw out any spoilers, so I'm not going to say too much. I love Short Circuit. Let's see, where am I at here? So I have seen Indiana Jones. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't. Uh, all I can say is that I liked it. To be fair, I think that some fans are going to take it differently than other fans. So it's kind of gotten mixed reviews. Um, I enjoyed it, but I can see that some may be find it lacking. So it really depends on your personal view of Indiana Jones on how you're going to take it. Um, but I can say that I enjoyed it. Oh, Romancing the Stone, yeah, that was a great one, Michael Douglas. I liked it better than Jewel of the Nile, which was like a sequel to that. But Romancing the Stone was great. Actually, when you guys go see Indiana Jones, if you do, I'd love to hear your guys' take on it, like whether or not you guys enjoyed it. Because I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. I always have been. And to me, like they can do no wrong. Just putting out an Indiana Jones movie is enough to make me happy. Like I went and saw it yesterday afternoon, like the first showing in my area. Um, and like I said, I enjoyed it, but some people didn't like Crystal Skull, and I enjoyed Crystal Skull. So I'm probably not the right person to ask for like what's their opinion of it, because I'm going to say it was great regardless, just because I mean, whatever they put out of Indiana Jones. To show you how much of a fan of Indiana Jones I am, I've gone back and I'm actually watching the Young Indiana Jones that's on Disney Plus. Um, that came out in like the 90s. It's cheesy as hell. Um, it was. I remember liking it a lot when I was a kid, but watching it as an adult now, I'm like, this is kind of cheesy. Like it's almost like I think they made it for like entertainment, like info entertainment, right? So like they kind of made it educational, um, and kind of like the adventure side of it kind of took a backseat. But anyway, my point is, it's really cheesy. But I'm watching it anyway, just because I'm that kind of Indiana Jones fan. Whatever you create that has Indiana Jones in it, I will watch it. I love me some Indiana Jones. Oh, Raiders was your first theater experience. That's cool. Um, I didn't get to see Raiders in theaters until like recently, like in the last couple of years. They were showing it at a theater as part of like oldies during the summer type thing, and that was the first time I ever got to see it in theaters because I was too young as a kid to see it when it first came out. And I don't know, it's just so weird watching Indiana Jones on the big screen. Um, because I've seen it so many times on TV that it was odd seeing it on the big screen. And all I could remember thinking, like when I went to go see it on the big screen, is like how sterile the movie theater was. Like I don't know why, but I wanted the theater to be full of smoke. I wanted the film to be grainy, like like I imagine the 1930s were, and it wasn't. It was all digital. Like they cleaned it up and everything, and then of course the theater itself was clean, and it was just weird to see it on the big screen. You can tell I'm really into Indiana Jones. We start talking about it, I get really animated. Trans Z. I remember that cartoon. Yeah, I think I even had the toy when I was a kid. The big Trans Z robot toy. That's a classic. Or what was it? The ones with the lions. All the lions that came together. I don't remember what the name of it was, but yeah, Jurassic Park. That's a classic for sure. Ah, what was it? So they were all the different colors of lions, and they came together to create the big lion or the big robot Voltron. Duh. How could I forget that? Yeah, I love me some Voltron. He-Man. So, in my household, each of us had like a favorite toy. My younger brother, I think, was the He-Man guy. My older brother was the Transformers guy, and I was the GI Joe guy. So like, I had all the GI Joes. I read all the GI Joe comics. um, I read all the GI Joe comics. I played with all the GI Joe toys until I was probably like I don't know, like 16 or something. Like I didn't give up those toys. I probably well they probably have some like they've been trying to reboot GI Joe for a while, so they probably have some new characters. But um, Oh, speaking of GI Joe, I think I mentioned on this channel that the comic book creator guy who actually created a lot of those characters, Larry Hama, he was at a Comic Con I went to recently, and I got to meet him, and that was a highlight of my life. Like it was cool seeing meeting Larry Hama in person, because he's the guy. There's some documentaries on Netflix about the toys we grew up with, or I think that's the name of it, or something like that. But they have an episode on GI Joe. That guy's all in that because he's the guy who did the comics, and he created like all the ninjas, right? Like Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. He's the guy who made all those. I think he created like a lot of the other characters too, but that was my thing. GI Joes back in the day. Transor Z though, that's a deep pull. I like that. Do they still make that show, or like, do people know what Transor Z is nowadays? Like kids, I guess. I don't know. Ultraman. Hmm. It sounds familiar. It's not anything that I remember seeing or playing with, but it does sound like something that I'm at least heard of. Robotech. Oh, I do remember Robotech. Um, do you guys remember the GoBots, which was like cheap Transformer knockoffs? I had a bunch of those. I had a bunch of Transformers. But as far as toys go, the major toys that I had growing up was like we didn't have a lot of money in my family, so we didn't have a lot of money to be buying toys. In fact, like I never had like a game console growing up or anything like that. But my dad was in the military, and sometimes when people were shipped overseas or something like that, they had to leave like a lot of their stuff behind, right? So they would sell off these things for like dirt cheap, even though they're worth like a lot more. So my dad was able to pick up like a huge set of Star Wars action figures, like um, I think we had like the Empire Strikes Back, Hoth base, things like that. I think I even had an AT-AT. Oh, and I had the Millennium Falcon. I wish I still had the Millennium Falcon. That thing's worth some money. Um, but anyway, we had some of these toys just because like my dad was able to get them fairly cheap, and so I had a bunch of Star Wars action figures, and then I had some GI Joe action figures. Those were my main things, but I also had some Transformers. I'm trying to think of all the things. I don't know. We were terrible on our toys. Like I remember taking my GI Joes and like putting them in like plastic cups and freezing them in the freezer so I could say they were frozen in carbonite, and then like tried to blow a couple of them up with firecrackers. We were not kind to our toys. Oh, Weekend at Bernie's, that's a classic. Ultraman was a Japanese show that would come on PBS and he would fight Godzilla. I might have actually heard of that. Speaking of Godzilla, what was it? What was the moth thing? There was a I don't remember the names of these creatures, but there was a moth-looking creature that Godzilla fought. There was man, you guys are really testing my memory here. Mothra. That was it. You guys don't know nothing about no Mothra. You guys think you know Godzilla, but you don't know nothing about no Mothra. I don't know. Maybe Mothra was in the new movie. I didn't see it. Godzilla changed a lot over my lifetime. Um, I remember the version that was in movies with Matthew Broderick, and then they did the recent one with Bryan Cranston, and then of course the Godzilla versus King Kong movie. That guy, that's a guy that's never going to go away. Like they will always be making Godzilla movies, I think. They might die down every now and then, but they'll bring them back. Can't can't kill off Moth or Godzilla. He's here to stay. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it starting to look like a cat after an hour? I think it's coming together. All right, let's go back to these brows because there's like a lot of white up in here. Man, you guys are making me feel old bringing up all these movies like I watched as a kid. Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. Those are timeless things that will never go away. I haven't seen Back to Future in a while. Like I have it memorized. I've seen it a million times, but I haven't seen it in recent years. I should go back and rewatch that. I wonder if that's on any streaming service. I'm sure it is. Yeah, it's not like they're, it just seems like the movies that they're making now, I mean, it's hard to find any that are like new classics, right? Like new movies that have come out that you'll always remember. I think like I said, I enjoyed Indiana Jones. That's in theaters now, but without talking about that, because too many spoilers, um, I think the other most recent one that I really enjoyed was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That was a good movie. And I'm trying to think if there's any other movies that I've really enjoyed besides those. And I don't know. Like it's slim pickings for movies these days. They have not been making great content that I can remember. Of course, there's some that I haven't seen. Like I don't go and watch every movie that comes out. There's some that I just kind of put off until they come out on streaming or whatever. I think most people do that. They have the ones that they must see in theaters, and then they have the ones that they'll get around to seeing at some point when it comes out on like Flash. Flash, I've heard mixed things about it. I've heard it's some people really like it, and then other critics panned it, saying it's the worst movie ever. I feel like I'll just watch that when it comes out on because it's gonna eventually come out on like HBO because I think they have some sort of thing with DC. So I can wait on watching that. Oh, Karate Kid. There's a good one. Oh, I forgot about Karate Kid. What about the oh, Nothing But Trouble with John Candy? That's a good one. Um oh, so you guys talking about Ghostbusters. So how about Stripes with who's the guy who played Egon? But anyway, Bill Murray, John Candy, Stripes was good. I enjoyed that. All right, there's some more details I could put in the brow, but I got to make some progress on the rest of his face so that I can at least say the face was done tonight. You guys got me reminiscing, and I'm forgetting to draw. No, that's not true. I can draw. I can multitask. Don't cross the streams. They had a cartoon of that show for a little while. Actually, they had two Ghostbuster cartoons, like they were competing over it, and one of them was real Ghostbusters, and then the other one was just Ghostbusters, and they were completely different shows, which is odd. Oh, E.T. There you go. Hey, how many of you guys grew up with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Because they're coming out with the new animated movie of that here soon. I think maybe later this year. I don't know, but that looks pretty cool to me. I mean, at least from like an animation standpoint. I don't know if the story's going to be any good, but I think I'm actually looking forward to that. Of course, it'll probably be crap, but I am looking forward to it. Oh, Time Bandits. Yes. Nice. Time Bandits was good. Yeah, you guys have good taste in movies. Let's see. Kind of put in the notes here. For the nose, I think I'm gonna go pink and come back with some red over it. Hey, why must it go? Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that's very rough. Of course, you have my support. Yeah, Troy. Um, I can't imagine what you're going through. So hopefully, hopefully you find out all the information that you need to know. And yeah, honestly, I don't know what to say. That's rough. I can't even relate. Um, all I can say is my best wishes, and I hope that I hope that you know you and your family um, deal with it the best that you can. It's tough. Just let you know, just to let you know, obviously, you know, myself and a lot of other community members, they're really pulling for you and hoping you find out more information and stuff like that. I can imagine that that's like the worst, you know. Like there's some pretty bad stuff in this world. That's pretty bad. Yeah, obviously, if there's anything that you need, just you know, reach out and let us know. Life is challenging sometimes. Oh, and it's not just me that reached out, and I know a few others and stuff. There's like a lot of people who were sending you their best wishes. They were talking about it on Treasure Warriors. I think last night, maybe the night before, and obviously that entire chat room was wishing you the best as well. In case you didn't get a chance to see that. So, long story short, you are not alone. There are people out there in your corner. I'm just gonna put in a bunch of white through here because there is a bunch of white, and I think I'll put in some white and then add some details over it. These cats always seem to take a while. There's like a lot of details in these cats and the fur and stuff. Takes a little while, but they're so cute. It's time well spent. It's worth it. I mean, like I know it's kind of cliche, but it is nice to have a community that you can reach out to for support in times like this because you know, people people know you, and I think that that probably helps. So definitely lean on that kind of support. Here, firing off some fireworkers out there. I don't know if it's the same in your guys' neighborhoods and stuff, but they'll be firing off fireworks for like the next month, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like all through the weekend, all through next week, they'll be firing off fireworks every night. Well, I don't want to sound like a crabby old dude or whatever, but they do not respect your pets because these pets get scared. I like these markings on this cat. Um, for some reason, they remind me of like a raccoon. I kind of just want to put like in some soft shadows through here, but I'm like borrowing from over here to do it, which I think is kind of cool. You put like down a lot of pastel in one area, and you kind of use it as a palette to pull into other areas that you don't want to be as dark, or you just kind of want to feel out where the markings are. Like I'll come back and make these darker, but I kind of want to sketch them in sort of with that All right, be good, Troy. Good luck, man. Yeah, that's a terrible situation. I don't. There's no other way to put it. That's kind of the worst thing that someone can go through. Hard white, it kind of comes up and around here. Hey, Justin. Trying to give everybody a shout out when they come in. I think that's just a good host. Like on Cheers, when Norm comes in, it's like, hey, Norm. I think it's common courtesy. This is a cute kitten. Blend some of that. There it goes. Got all these blending stumps, but they're all like kind of muddy from previous seasons. Find one that's not going to make this too dark. Oh, your dog learned to catch a ball last week. That's awesome. Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? I mean, seven's not really old, but that's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, I need to draw my own cat. That's true. My cat is let's see. I have a picture of my cat on Instagram somewhere. I'll try to find a picture of it to show you guys, but like I can't right now. But yeah, I do need to draw my cat. It's an orange cat. Kind of I don't know the proper term for it, but kind of just like a generic orange and white cat. Kind of like a orange creamsicle. It, it's cute. We call him Archer. But yeah, I appreciate you asking me about my cat. Uh, this one is one that I found on Unsplash, just because I wanted a cat with like really good lighting and stuff, so that I can kind of keep his portfolio piece. But yeah, um, my cat doesn't come in here because my cat's restless. So like if I brought my cat in here, so the dogs just fall asleep, right, while I'm doing the stream. If I brought the cat in here, the cat would be like, I don't know, screaming to get out. The cat does not like closed doors. If I'm in here too long, the cat will start clawing at the front at the door, wanting to get in. My cat is very. My cat has opinions. I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah, I'm a fan of the TV show Archer, the animated cartoon, and that's where the cat's name from. Which is a great show if you guys ever watch it. Archer's a great show. I think it's still on. I don't know. They might have done their last season. I know one of the cast members passed away, so I don't know how much longer that's going to go. But it was on. It had a good run. Like I mean, it's a hilarious show. It's funny. It's a comedy. It's about um, like a super spy, obviously named Archer, and it's just funny. And, like if you get a chance to see it, like maybe this should come down a little bit further. Well, we're getting there, I think. Still have like the whole body to do, but the face is almost done. Enough. How we doing with that? Yeah. Yeah, I think this is another one of those 3-hour pictures to completely do. But I'll keep working on it. Well, it seems like these cat pictures just take long. Oh, it's no problem. You guys are free to come and go as you please. You don't have to apologize when you leave. Kid, do you have a cat? I'm not sure. Like, I think you might have a cat. You may have sent me a picture of your cat. I don't remember. I still have a lot of emails I gotta get through. I'm terrible at keeping tidy inbox. I know Lorraine sent me a kitty cat to draw, which I will get to. And I've got I've got that gorilla picture to send out to because I can. I haven't done that yet. I'm just so far behind on everything that I need to do. But I'll get there. here is going to be on the some little freckles on his face. I don't know what these things are actually called. Somebody told me once. I completely forgot. All right, I got to get this ear done up here. I started it, didn't finish it. Now it seems important. See how quickly I can get through that. I don't think if there were any movies. So like we were talking a lot about 80s movies. I'm trying to remember if there were any like 90s movies that I really liked. Oh, Dumb and Dumber. There you go. For some reason that just popped into my head. Dumb and Dumber was a great 90s movie. Actually, anything with Jim Carrey in it was good during the 90s. But I love Dumb and Dumber. So I'm going to blend in some of this just so that it's a light touch. And I'll come back over it with some more detail. The Wizard. What is the Wizard? You mean Michael Jackson's The Wiz? I'm trying to think what the Wizard was. Speaking of wizard movies, or just magician movies in general, um, The Prestige. That was a good. That was a good magician movie. Have a good one, Rome. Appreciate you stopping in. Shadow up in here. Oh, with Fred Savage. Uh, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't think I've seen that. I seem to recall a movie with Fred Savage called The Wizard, but I do not remember it. The only movies I really remember with Fred Savage was Princess Bride, of course. I remember that he did Wonder Years, and then also I remember that he was in a couple of Austin Power movies because I think he like co-directed that. I don't know, or maybe he directed it. You guys can look that up, but he was in one of the Austin Power movies. He was the guy with the mole. That's all I remember. Let's see. All right, there's definitely some more detail and some work that I'm going to do on this face. But since we're at an hour and a half, I'm going to move on down to the body just to make some progress there. So the body is a series of white and black stripes. So I'm going to kind of try to roughly put in the black and then have the white go over it if I can. I don't know how well that's going to work out. But this is just kind of like a base layer that I can work with over it. And again, if I don't get all the details in tonight, the trick is, like, I've come to the grips that just some pictures I'm not going to be able to get done in one sitting. And it seems like you guys are okay with that. Like, you don't need to see a completely finished product. Like, you guys just enjoy watching. Um, I mean, I guess I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems like that's the case. So I don't stress it so much anymore. I just want to make sure that I get enough done so that you guys get an idea of what the finished picture is going to look like, and enough for like a thumbnail, I guess. And then I can come back and I can finish it up, and then post it to the community tab when it's all said and done. I think that process works for like some of these pictures that take longer. I try not to make all of them like that. Like, I really try to get pictures done in a reasonable amount of time. But some of these, they just take longer. Men in Black, Jurassic Park. There you go. Those were 90s movies. Both great movies, too. Like Jurassic Park. I mean, geez, that's a classic. I had completely forgotten that that came out in the 90s. Um, Crap, there's a lot of movies. Like, I don't know, for some reason, Interview with the Vampire stands out just because I was a big Anne Rice fan back then. Well, kind of still am. Um, well, thinking of oh, Calico. Nice. I love Calico cats. I used to have one named it Cali. Put a lot of thought into that. I love Calico cats. Calico cats are super cute. Siamese cats are cute. These type of cats are cute. Like, I guess this would be like a tiger pattern kitty. I don't know. I don't really know all the different names. Or like, I don't think they have different. I don't know. I don't want to pretend like I know something when I don't. I've never seen an ugly cat. I've seen some ugly dogs. They do make dogs that are ugly, but I've never seen an ugly cat. Cats are just born cute. No, I take that back. What are those hairless cats? Whatever those cats are, those things are not cute. Those things are scary looking. I should draw one of those. Draw one of those hairless cats. That would be a challenge because then it's all like skin and like it's like drawing an old person where you have like a lot of wrinkles and so on and different textures. Um, I think that would be a fun challenge, I think. But they are not cute. I like if you've got one, look, I'm sorry that I don't think your cat is cute, but those are those are not cute cats. They're weird. They're probably from outer space. They're like proof that aliens exist, which I guess is kind of cool. The cool thing about doing these stripes is like there's really no like you can draw them however you want because like they do go all over the place. So it's not like you can get them wrong unless you're doing somebody's pet portrait. Like if you're doing somebody's pet portrait, you have to make sure that it looks like the pet. Um, if you're just drawing a random cat, you can have some fun with these markings because like they really do come in all kind of different patterns. It's not like you have to draw something that looks familiar to people because it would still look familiar to them regardless. I do think that they're kind of like looking at this cat. I don't know if this cat is unique, but I think just from what I've seen in cats, um, hello Furbies. There you go. I love Furbies. I think that those were actually based on Mogwais. That's going to be my guess. Um, yeah. So anyway, I do think that at least on this cat, the pattern is symmetrical, and I think that it's always the case on the cat. So like if you've got a stripe going over here, there's probably going to be a corresponding stripe on the other side. Don't quote me on that because I'm not a cat expert, but that would be my guess. Furbies and Beanie Babies. That's a 90s thing. And grunge rock. Those are all quintessential 90s things. I guess Friends and Seinfeld. What else happened during the 90s? I was I was into grunge music myself. Kurt Cobain. Somebody was talking about Foo Fighters tonight. I used to love Foo Fighters. Well, I still like Foo Fighters. It's just, I remember when Dave Grohl was in just the drummer, and Courtney Love before she became an actress, and then nothing. That's all the 90s. 90s were pretty cool. Of course, the 80s were pretty cool too. I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I enjoyed the 90s more than the 80s. I love those Furbies. Like, what's the modern Furby? Like, I'm sure they've replaced Furbies with something. This is just kind of sketching these patterns out, and then I'll come back and add more detail to them later, but I kind of want to get started on the white here. Oh, Cabbage Patch thought, yeah. Hmm. I don't know where I was talking about this recently, but somebody brought up Garbage Pail cards. Do you guys remember them? The Garbage Pails kids? They were kind of like a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids. Um, but you had like some that were like, I don't know, like they were all just like these weird names, like some had to do with like boogers and I don't remember them all, but they were all these kind of like messed up versions of Cabbage Patch Kids, and I guess they had toys of them too. But I remember the trading cards. They had them all on these like little bubblegum cards back in the day. Oh, you know, it just jogged a memory. For some reason, I thought of My Little Monster. Do you guys remember that? They had the blue monster stuffed animal that everybody had to have. I think that was more maybe the like the 80s, but maybe late 80s, early 90s. I don't know, but we had one of those. They had like the big nose and yeah, Garbage Pail Kids cards. You know what I'm talking about. I don't remember having a lot of them. I just remember that there was a big craze for those. I also remember, and this is kind of weird. I don't know if this is just like something I remember if it's true, but there was this craze there where people had the little skateboards that you could put your fingers on and do little tricks with your fingers on a little tiny miniature skateboard. I feel like that was the fidget spinners of back then. Like everybody was into those, and they had all these custom ones. They had like I don't know sports teams on them and stuff like that, like sports team mascots or whatever on them. But everybody had one of those little finger skateboards for a while. It's just funny the different trends that things go through. Like I don't even know what that's about. Like how many tricks can you do with those? But I had some friends that were really good at it, and I could never pull it off. Like every time I tried to like do like I don't know like some little skater trick or whatever, it never really worked. So I'm just kind of rushing through these markings just so that the cat is here. But I am going to come back and kind of like put greater details in this like later. I just want to make sure that there's something in there now. And to me, that's totally fair because these things are kind of like paintings where you're adding layers upon layers and stuff like that. So it really doesn't matter if you add them all at one time. You can always come back and refine the picture. All of my other pastel pictures are like that, where um, even after the stream, I come back and I add more details to it. It's just the way pastel works. I really do like working with pastels. The next experiment I think I'm going to do is where I start a picture in pastels and then I apply some fixant to it after I get it to a certain degree of like where I want it to be, and then after that I'll come back and add some more with colored pencils. I've seen somebody do that and I thought the effect was like pretty cool. So I'm gonna give that a shot. I don't know when, but expect that soon. Hopefully you guys just enjoy hanging out. You guys seem to like just you just enjoy hanging out and chatting with me and all that. Hopefully there's not too much pressure around getting things perfect in one sitting. Because that's kind of why the way I thought it would go. Like when I started the channel, I thought, hey, if I can't get something done in the amount of time, because like Bob Ross, right? Bob Ross had that TV show. He would do the entire painting in one sitting, which is cool. And I was like, well, when I started this channel, I was like, I'm going to do that, right? And then if I can't get it all done in one sitting, I'm just not going to do that kind of art. And that worked for a while, but now I'm at the point where I want to like do more detailed stuff. I mean, probably not something that takes an entire week to do or whatever, but I do want to spend a little more time on some of my pictures. And those you can't just get done in 2 hours always. I think this is a pretty good start, but there's definitely more I want to add to it. I want to finish this pot out here. I think this is more like a sketch. It's not a finished picture. At least in the body. I mean, I think I got a good start on the face, but This body definitely isn't where I want it to be yet. You guys will see when it's all said and done. This will be the most amazing cat you've ever seen. Or else my name is not Bob. My name isn't Bob. So this is not going to be the most amazing cat you've ever seen. It's going to be a pretty cat. I think it will be. I mean, it already looks kind of cute. I think that hedgehog turned out really cute from Tuesday. Fingerboards. Okay, I didn't know what they were called. I tried to do skateboards. I was into the whole skater subculture. Like a lot of my friends were skaters, but I was scared to death of them. Because one time I tried to ride a skateboard and I thought it would be fun to go down this hill, and my dumbass did not realize that you shouldn't just kind of like try to hop off of it when it's going a certain like miles per hour. And you know, I don't know, like at least kids nowadays they wear helmets mostly, but back then I wasn't wearing a helmet or whatever. And anyway, took a tumble, and I think that's the last time I ever seriously rode a skateboard. But all my friends were into it, and I liked what people were doing. I liked all the tricks that they were doing. I think Tony Hawk, for example, is awesome. Like it's a sport. Like that's kind of a new thing since the '90s. Like this type of sports as a sport, I think it's phenomenal. But for me, I was too scared to be on a skateboard. That's one of the things that I wish I had the courage to have done more than I did. It was like one and done for me. Which is odd because I do other risky things. Like I'll ride a horse. Horses aren't perfectly safe. I mean, there's safe ways to be on horses, but all right, I'm gonna put all this down. I will come back to the fur in the body, and I will come back to some of the details in the face. Oh, well, yeah, if you yeah, there's yeah, nobody wore helmets, but if you live near a skate park, that's probably all you would do. I would have loved to have been good at it. That's one of those things where I admire the people who were. And I not envy because like it's not like I spent a lot of time thinking about it, but it's one of those things where I wish I had um one those skills, but also the courage. Like I don't know, maybe it's not courage, maybe you just have to forget that it's dangerous in order to ride a skateboard. But I think the problem is that, you know, I took that spill too early. If I had taken that spill after I'd been skateboarding for a while, I probably would have gotten back up and tried it again. But it was one and done for me. All right, there's definitely some progress I can make on this face here and this body, but I wanted to put some whiskers in just to have them. I've got this like slightly sharpened edge that I've kind of made on this one. This little guy, he's got a lot of whiskers. I enjoy drawing the whiskers. I can never get them like as thin as I want them to be, but the first cat I ever drew recently, I don't remember drawing cats growing up. We never had a cat in the house because my dad didn't like them. But as I got older, I got my own cats. But I don't remember drawing too many cats. But anyway, the first cat that I drew recently, I forgot to put the whiskers on, and like whiskers are like the biggest part of a cat. Like dogs, probably their floppy ears. Cats, whiskers. And they're tough to draw because you just kind of have to like, it's not like you can sketch them, you know? You just kind of have to like put the pencil down, pull it across, and just kind of hope it goes in the right place. I'll come back and try to like add some more, make those a little bit brighter. And you get these like little ones that come off of here, and then part of the eyebrow they kind of just come across. Like usually two up here. All right, I think that's good. All right, so now let's see. It's at 2 hours. I'm going to continue refining this, but if you guys wanted to hop off and stuff, I'm not going to hold it against you. I know that people have lives, and maybe you guys had planned to go out tonight or something like that. I'm going to continue working, but don't feel like you have to hang out with me out of obligation or anything like that. It's always like my pleasure that you guys hang out with me, so I don't want you guys to feel guilted into hanging out with me just because I'm still working on this picture. But I'm going to go ahead and continue refining this because I do think it's in a good place, but I don't feel like I'm done with it for now, if that makes sense. Like there are some details I'm not going to be able to get in tonight, but I'm going to keep going for at least. Okay, take care, Larry. I'll probably hop off in maybe a half hour myself, but I'm going to continue working for now. But I appreciate you hanging out with me, Larry, and reminiscing about the good old days of movies and all that. And hopefully you'll check me out next time, which will probably be Tuesday. I don't know what I'm going to work on next. I do want to do a horse picture, but I also kind of want to do something a little bit different. Um, with that new technique that I was talking about, where kind of use some colored pencils. I think that that's probably going to work best for like a portrait, like a face or a character or something like that. So we'll see. Maybe a half hour is a bit much. Maybe I'll work on this for like 10 more minutes or something. Because my dogs do get antsy after a while. But you guys have seen the process here where like once you get in, your major shapes and you kind of know where everything is, it's just basically coming back, or at least what I do, is I come back and kind of like reinforce some of these shapes, add a little bit more detail, kind of blend things a little bit, have like hair come up. Because like when I was doing this dark area, it was independently of the light area, and then you kind of get this halo effect sometimes. So I like to clean up things like that, especially when you have an underpainting this orange. I don't want, it's okay for some orange to show through. That's kind of the point of the underpainting. But I don't want like too much orange showing through when it's not appropriate. There is some orange in this cat where it is appropriate, but I don't want like a halo effect, if that makes sense. So I come in and I kind of like add little things to kind of make things flow a little bit better together, which I think is a good process. Get enough in there so that you know where everything is, and then come back and refine it. Like there's all these like little wispy areas that kind of come off to the side, like so that the fur of the face is actually overlapping the background. Um, and the first draft of it, that's all kind of like just lines, and it's not really filled in right. But this kind of like little touch ups and stuff like that, it is a bit tedious. It does take a little while. Um, I was watching this guy do this picture. I forget his name. I forget what he was drawing, but something stuck out. He was like, "Yeah, so like you come back and you add all these details," and he's like, that it does take a while and stuff, but it's not that bad. It's only 3 hours, and he was just talking about the details. And he was like, the real work is in the underpainting. And in my mind, I'm like, well, geez, how long did you spend on the underpainting? There are people who spend like, 40 hours doing a picture, which, hey, that's great. The results speak for themselves. They come out really nice. But I don't know, 40 hours for one picture, especially a picture that you're doing a live stream of. I don't think that's right. But then it would be kind of cool, to do a little bit of it. Like, I don't know, one of these days when I get like a week's worth of free time, I'll do a live stream every night. And that's when something like that would be kind of cool, where you do like a little piece of it each night. And by the end of the week, you have like a finished picture. I think that'd be kind of cool. That would be fun to do. But I can already see just adding like these little bits, it really helps define things a little bit better. And then like little lines over some of these white areas that I did so that it doesn't just look like a big solid shape. And then when you've got like a little stripe of white fur here, add some like little marks to it so that it doesn't look like it's just floating there or something. It doesn't look like you fell in a bucket of paint. That's a good way to put it. I love my analogies. I come up with the best analogies. I don't know if it comes off or not, but I really do enjoy doing this stuff. Hopefully that shows. I'm still not where I want to be in terms of skill, but I make up for it in passion at least. I'm really into doing these pictures, for better or worse. Hopefully one day for the best. We got like all these little areas through here that are kind of like a lot of. Hey Lorraine, how's it going? We were just talking about your kittens earlier. I do have your email, and I am going to do your kittens at some point in the future. But I wanted to do a kitten for this one that was like super well lit, good photo and stuff like that, because I'm trying to do like a portfolio piece. Um, this and I think a horse will complete my portfolio of pet portraits done in this style, which, as I mentioned, doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing in this style. It just means that I'm going to move on to some other experiments. But I wanted to have a good collection of pictures in this style just so that I can have them and say that I did them. And I was looking at the collection and I'm like, I need a cat. I don't, I don't have enough kittens in this. And the next one that I need is a horse. I haven't done a horse in this pastel pencil style yet. So that's on my list as well. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but this is a white charcoal pencil. It's not even like a pastel pencil. You can mix charcoal with pastel. So like if you were ever curious about, well, how can I add color to my charcoal picture? You can use pastels and you can add charcoal to your uh, so both ways. You can add charcoal to your pastel picture, and you can add pastel to your charcoal picture, and many people do that. It's it's a thing people do. In fact, I don't know of any person who does charcoal pictures that do just charcoal pictures. Usually there is some sort of white pastel or white Conti crayon or something like that. It's all basically the same thing. Um, there might be like some subtle difference, but everybody uses pastel when they work on charcoal at some point because you can't just have black and white. You have to introduce some color in some cases, at least white. White's not a color. Well, white is all colors uh, when it comes to light. Whereas black is the absence of color when it comes to light. In reality, black is just a bunch of colors mixed together. You're so adorable. Let's see. I go in here. I think this eye has a slightly different shape to it than what I've got going here. Let's see, there is some gunk coming out of this eye. Not really gunk, but just all these little details really bring it together. And it is tedious, it does take a while, but the further you refine it, the better it looks. And anything worth doing is worth putting the time in it. There's these little tiny lines that come in on the eyes. Actually, this part is the most fun because you're like doing these refinements and you're noticing like little details each time. I actually recommend oh, guinea pigs. Ah, you got me, kid. I don't have a guinea pig. Dang it. I need to draw a guinea pig. I did a hedgehog. I love hedgehogs. I would love to get a hedgehog. And I don't have a bird. People have birds as pets. All right, my portfolio is not complete yet. You got me. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to draw more of these, which is fine. I enjoy these things. I mean, the whole idea is that like I would be doing pet portraits a lot in the future. I really want that to be kind of like my specialty as I get better. Like I want to be a person who can consistently do pet portraits very well. So I will do a guinea pig. I think that's I think that's actually a great idea. I love that well, you haven't done a guinea pig. I love it. No, I have not done a guinea pig. Somebody brought up a snake. I haven't done a snake, and I don't think I'm gonna do a snake. I don't have a problem with snakes, but snakes kind of like turn people off. So like same with spiders. Like some people have like a visceral reaction to seeing a snake or a, a, uh, a, uh, spider. Like I actually like snakes. Snakes are cool. I don't like spiders. Like spiders creep me out. So like Indiana Jones had it famously has a problem with snakes. Like that is like his biggest thing that he hates. Mine are spiders. I actually like snakes. Snakes are good for the environment, I think. I don't really know. I just don't think that they deserve all the hate they get. Paraquat, what else do people keep as pets? I guess people keep all kinds of different things, huh? It doesn't have to be a complete list. It just has to check all the major boxes. I feel like I can leave an iguana off, but I can't leave a cat off. Like if you leave a cat off the list, people will notice. Plus, I love cats. Cats are great. Cats are adorable, and they're so like cats are great. They largely take care of themselves, as long as you feed them, um, and like clean their litter box and stuff like that. They basically take care of themselves. They don't really need you around. They just want you around. I respect that. Like if I went on a trip, my dogs are going to go nuts while I'm gone if I don't bring them with me. But a cat, you can just throw a bag of cat food down on the floor and the cat's going to be like, "Oh, you left? I didn't notice." At least my cat. My cat doesn't need me. That said, my cat does get affectionate sometimes. Like if I'm not paying attention to my cat, it will let me know. My cat makes some weird noises in the middle of the night. Ferrets, ferrets are great. Um, I think I mentioned this before. My younger brother had a ferret. They're adorable creatures. I would love to have a ferret again. Yes, I will continue drawing these pet portraits forever because I will never ever get all the animals in there that is required. I think your point. People keep mice. I used to have a mouse. Um, I had a little white mouse. I named it Pinky. I love that mouse. That mouse was great. I like the mouse because you know, it never bothered anybody. It was just like in the aquarium where I kept it, and it was a cute cat, cute mouse. Drove the cats crazy, as mice do, but even they got used to it. I would love to get a bird. Like I'm not allowed to have a bird in this house, but I would love to have a bird. I just love birds. I love the noises that they make. I love that they run around, um, being cute all the time, flitting about. The mice are feeding. No, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. Yeah, actually, if you have a snake, yeah, I guess you have to feed them the mice, huh? Well, that's terrible. I don't want a mouse anymore. The one I had was super cute though. I miss it. Yeah, ferrets are awesome. Ferrets are so the thing about ferrets is that they're so curious and so playful and so slinky. They're just fun little animals. I don't think anybody's ever had a ferret that was bored of their ferret. I love how I just speak for all people sometimes. Like, of course, everybody loves a ferret. I don't know. Maybe some people don't like ferrets. Maybe they're creeped out by them, but I love them. They're great. This cat's gonna have like a perfectly detailed face, and then the rest of it's gonna be kind of sketched in. But hey, that works. That works for a nice little thumbnail. I can worry about the rest of it later. That's my thing. I don't feel like it's done until like I can get a decent thumbnail out of it. Yeah, and I want to say my mouse lived 3 years, but I may be misremembering. Is 3 years a lot for a mouse? I felt like it lived longer than expectation. I'll tell you what, I've got a short uh a dwarf rabbit. That thing, I swear, has been alive for close to, let's see, I got it, I want to say it's been alive for at least 7 years. And I don't think that's right for rabbits. Like it's been around now, it's seen better days. It's obviously old now. But I am surprised that rabbit is still alive. That is a beautiful rabbit. I need to show you guys a picture of my rabbit. It's cute. Because it's not a normal sized bunny. It's a little dwarf bunny. And it's just really cute. So yeah, people can have bunny rabbits too. I guess I need to draw that. I'm pretending to care. I think it would be fun to draw a bunny, to be honest. I drew a bunny once, but that was in charcoal. I wasn't very happy with it either. I didn't like how it turned out. I feel like bunnies could be done in a way that they're like super cute. This one wasn't. If you're gonna do a pet portrait, you should definitely do it cute. Like most of the pet portraits I've done, um, I try to do cute. I mean, there's only so much skill like that, so like they don't always turn out perfect, but at least I try. I'd rather do a cute pet portrait than not. I like its eyebrows. This little guy's got cute eyebrows. Well, guys, I think I am getting close enough to having enough of a face done for a thumbnail, so I feel like I can finish off the rest and post that up um, probably in the morning. It is the weekend, so or maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll stay up late and finish it up, but I don't need to bore you guys with the remaining details. So I'll probably call it here in a few. I wonder if this lead's messed up. Yeah, see how that's the problem with pastel pencils. So this lead is going to fall out at some point because like somewhere up in that wood there's a crack, and if I don't take care of it, that lead's going to fall out, and I'm going to have to resharpen it. That's the drawback. You can sometimes burn through these things just by the lead breaking. Rabbits can live up to 12 years. I did not know that. Um, cool. I thought that they didn't live very long. I was surprised that this one has. I don't want to I don't want to jinx it. I love that rabbit. That rabbit is so cute. Um, like honestly, the pets that I get broken up about the most when they pass away are little innocent animals like the rabbits, right? So the rabbits, they don't bother anybody. Like that rabbit takes care of itself. I go out there and I feed it. It's an outdoor rabbit. But hey Marble, how's it going? Um, but the little rabbit just lives out there in his cage. And it never bothers anybody. It's always happy to see me when I go out to feed it. It wants to be petted, and it's just the cutest thing. And like if anything were to ever happen to that rabbit, and eventually it will, I mean that's just the way life works. I would be devastated just because like that poor rabbit never hurt anybody. Versus this cat, which looks like it's up to no good. I'm just kidding. But to me, it's the innocent pets that I feel the worst about, like the ones that are so sweet and they never harm the soul. Like those are the ones you just want to live forever. Thank you, Marvel. Yeah, I'm liking how this is turning. There's a couple of things that I need to either fix or like just learn to live with on this cat. But I like how it's turning out. I think it needs more work to be perfect, but I don't know how much of like striving for perfection I really do when I draw pictures. So the rabbit, I do two things during winter. So the first thing I do is I wrap up the cage really well with like a tarp, so that it doesn't catch the wind. And then the second thing I do is I go out and get a fresh bale of straw so that it can. So rabbits, believe it or not, are actually like perfectly fine during winter. It's like horses. Horses don't come inside during winter. But what they do need is they need a lot of straw to burrow down into. So they kind of almost make like their own little adobe hut. Um, and that'll keep them okay for like up to like severe freezing temperatures that last, too long, right? And then on cases like that, I bring them into the garage so that it's a little bit warmer for them. But the thing is, you don't. The important thing is that you don't want to like bring them in out of the cold to where they overheat and then throw them right back out into the cold. That's no good. So I try to keep them where they stay because they build up this coat and they're mostly winterized themselves. Like they're made for being outdoors during the winter. But also you want to be kind of careful with the really freezing cold temperatures that last too long, with like a week or more. So I think I think that's the rule of thumb. As long as you're mindful of that, and you don't do that transition where you bring them into the hot and then throw them back out into the cold. You kind of have to keep it moderate. So certainly, if it's 30 degrees or something like that, they can handle that. They're totally fine with that. What happens is like as winter starts approaching, I've never had a rabbit indoors, so I don't know how it would do indoors. But the outdoor rabbit, you can watch as the winter approaches. Its coat starts becoming fluffier. Um, it just has ways of dealing with it on its own. It's really kind of fascinating. But no, that's a great question because I was concerned about that myself when I first got the rabbit. And then when it gets freezing cold, I get super worried about the rabbit. But then I put it in the garage and I feel a little bit better. But even when it's not in the garage, it has everything it needs to burrow in and be comfortable during the winter. But you can have rabbits that come inside. They believe it or not, well, you probably already know, but for those who don't, you can train them to use litter boxes and things like that. Basically, they could live like a cat if you really wanted to. But we just made the decision to keep it outdoors. It was already an outdoor rabbit when I got it, so trying to teach it new tricks would be, I thought it would be challenging. So I just went with it. And then I get little bunnies in my yard sometimes. My rabbit always stays in the cage. I don't let it, well, I let it out to play or whatever, but um, it doesn't just run around the neighborhood or anything like that. But I have, like around springtime, I have like wild bunnies that come into my yard. I don't know if they come into my yard because I have a bunny or whatever, but there's a lot of them out there. And they have little bunnies and stuff, and you can kind of see them running around and stuff. So you get around springtime, you get a new batch of bunnies running around. They have nothing to do with my bunny, but it's kind of cool. It's like circle of life every spring. Um, I mean, yeah, I live in like a neighborhood and stuff like that, but it is still kind of rural around here. So we have like a lot of wild critters that come into the yard. There's always like a possum in the backyard that drives the dogs nuts. There's a possum that walks my fence. like a catwalk. And middle of the night, if my dog needs to go out, I put my dog out and stuff, and I hear the woo woo woo. I'm sure it's waking up the neighborhood, so I'm that guy. I'm the asshole who has a dog waking up the neighborhood. But it's because they saw a possum. It's it's funny to me. I don't know. My neighbors probably disagree. My neighbors probably hate my dogs. But my dogs are too excitable. They bark all the time. UPS guy shows up, they're barking. Some dude walking down the street, they're barking. I come home from being out for too long, they start barking. Somebody else comes home for being out too long, they start barking. These little barking creatures. What are we doing on time? 2 hours 30 minutes. I should probably wrap this up. I don't really like these things being too long. But I don't know. This one's fun. Um, I feel like the more I refine this face, the more realistic it's starting to look. I know that you guys can't really see that, but I'll put up a detailed picture once it's all wrapped up. But you'll be able to see in the thumbnail that there's enough here where it's starting to look pretty realistic. It's just you just kind of have to constantly refine it, keep going over it. Takes a while to make one of these pictures, but if I had the scrub bar available to me at this moment, which I guess I probably could, but I bet you if I go back just in the last half hour, this face started looking more realistic. I think that's what I would find. Let me do this side real quick and then we'll call it a night. And I can hear my dogs starting to rustle. They're like, "You're taking too long, Daddy." It's like, forget about that cat. You need to draw me. I still haven't drawn a picture of Bear yet. She's like super jealous that I drew Guinness. Guinness is just easier to draw though. Guinness is a short-haired dog, so like whenever I'm tackling a new kind of style or new medium or something like that, I always I always do a picture of Guinness first because Guinness is a short-haired dog, so it's really just like shapes and not like fur lines and stuff like that. There's like less detail in Guinness. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's buried up there. I have a picture of Guinness that I was going to show, but it, there's not a lot to drawing Guinness. But what if I were to draw bear, possums, armadillos? Oh yeah. So I don't think there's any armadillos in Kentucky. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Definitely possums. Possums everywhere. Possums are fun. I like possums actually. I know that you don't really want to mess with them, but when they play dead, they look dead. Like they look like they were hit by. In fact, I thought one was dead. I was gonna bury it. Like I thought my dogs had gotten a hold of it, and I went inside to get like a trash bag to like help you know kind of mask the smell when I buried it. And by the time I got back, that possum was gone. It was playing dead. It was playing dead so well, I thought it was dead. And now I now I, if I ever find another one, I would be like I would just give it a day. see see if it's really dead. It's only mostly dead. But I actually think they're cute. Zeus and Bandit and Francis. My parents used to have a dog named Francis. Those are great names for dogs. I'm sure they're adorable. A deaf possum or a dead possum? Oh, okay. Like, how did you know it was deaf? Yeah, they're I don't know. Like, they're not really afraid of much. Like, if so, like I catch them in my backyard all the time, but they're up on a fence, and I can get really close to them. Like I don't get too close because I think if one like actually attacked you, it would hurt. But I get pretty close to them, and they don't flinch. They don't run away. They just pretend like they don't notice you. You know, when my dogs are barking at them and they're up on that fence, they seem totally uninterested that those dogs are there. Which I don't know if it's just that they're smart enough to realize that the dog can't reach them, or they literally are not afraid. I don't know what it is. Ew, yeah, I don't need to see that. I don't want to see a molding one. But hopefully that didn't traumatize you or anything like that. Sometimes it's tough to see a dead animal. Um, Dead birds are the worst. Like when you encounter a dead bird, I don't like seeing that. They they get they get pretty gnarly pretty quick. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but my cat is like crying at the door. My cat has decided that I've spent too long drawing this other cat, and it wants attention. But I am done. I think I just want to kind of clean this up a little bit through here so that it looks good in the thumbnail, and then I'll finish it up and add some more detail later on and stuff. But I like how this turned out in the last couple of minutes. Because like through here, I mean, it still could use some cleanup, which I'll do, but through here, it kind of looks pretty realistic, I think. Of course, you're never actually done. Like every time I look at it, I want to change something else. That's just how it goes. Well, at some point, you have to be done. You have to call it. Yeah, so I know that like if I ever got in a fight with that possum, that would win. Plus, they have something to do with like rabies. I don't know if they're immune to rabies, and they're carriers of rabies, but you don't want to be bit by one because of rabies. But I don't know if it's because like I don't know what the deal is with that, but I just know that don't get bit. So basically, don't get bit by any wild animal. Because like if you do, you're basically gonna have to go and get a whole bunch of shots, and it's not gonna be fun. And I think the only way to find out if one of these things have rabies is that they have to do like an autopsy or something, basically. Like if you bit by like say a raccoon or something, and you go to the doctor's going to assume that you got rabies and treat you for rabies whether you have it or not. Now, that's just me talking to my ass. I don't really know, but that's my assumption. Thank you. Yeah, it's a very boopable nose. I wanted this kitty to look cute, and I'm happy to see that it is turning out to be kind of cute. I still think it needs some more work, but I think it's a good start, and I think there's enough there to where I'm happy enough with it. Like through here, I think I can fix up some of these empty areas, but I think it's good enough right now. There is there is a mouth that I can kind of shadow in a little bit through here. Honestly, I just really enjoy drawing fur. It's a lot of fun. I think I just made this cat super happy by accident. I don't know if that was supposed to be extended out that far, but I'm gonna go with it. It's just a happy kitty. These whisker lines and stuff are always important on pets. The whisker lines are always tough because they're so subtle. And then these like little whisker freckles, I'm gonna call them. I don't know what they actually are, but these like little whisker marks. Those are always such fine points that it's easy to screw those up. Little Bunny Foo Foo. I know that song. Little Bunny Foo Foo, hopping through the forest, scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head. That's how it goes, right? I live in Kentucky. Of course, I know that song. Boop. Little Bunny Foo Foo. Well, it's just like that song I just kind of quoted. It goes around booping the little animals. It's a it's a compliment, I think. So that looks a little muddy, so I'm gonna have to try to fix that later. I didn't mean for it to be smudged like that, but what can you do? One little line left. I know I've said that before, but I just kind of want to get these little whisker lines in. They're really like dots mostly. Really get this little fur area through here. I boot my dog a lot. So like when my dog's just laying over there, I'll just come like if it's not paying attention, I'll come up and just boop. My dogs are different too. So like Guinness does not like to be like I don't really know, like hugged or like picked up or anything like that. He's just totally not into that. Like if I tried to pick him up, and what's weird is he's a smaller dog, so it's easy to pick him up. But if I tried to pick him up, he's gonna squirm. He's gonna try to get out of it. He just hates it. Um, versus Bear, Bear loves all the traditional human kind of ways of um, like interacting. So like she loves to be hugged. Most dogs don't, but Bear loves it. Like Bear will come up and I'll go to hug Bear and Bear will put like her like neck up against me and all of that stuff. These are things that most dogs don't enjoy doing. All right, I think this is good enough to go ahead and call for the night. Again, there's more work I can do. I got some more details in the face, but I think it's a good start. Obviously, the body is just sketched out at this moment. There's not like there's no detail. A lot of it's not even filled in. It just kind of looks okay because of the underpainting. A lot more work to do on the body, but I think the face is done enough where I can call it a night and come back and finish it up in the morning or like later on this evening if I can't sleep or something like that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Bear. We're done. All right. So anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday night. Sorry I couldn't get it finished, but this is one of those pictures that just like there's so many details. It just takes up so much time putting in these individual pieces of fur. But anyway, let me go back to the just me. There you go. It looks like my camera's a little bit on delay anyway, so I should probably call it a night. Hopefully you guys had a good time hanging out with me. I'll be back on Tuesday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Sorry for the lag.